Hi, welcome to the Erotica channel on Vlogitorial. My name is Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and this week I'm talking about independence. That's the theme of the week because July 4th is this Friday. So, independence is a very important theme that applies to all my topics: erotica, wellness, spirituality, and writing. Right now, for erotica, I'm going to talk about why I wrote Husbands Incorporated, my new book, which is considered erotica, because it has graphic love scenes and language that is appropriate for the story. So the reason that falls under the category of independence is because it took a lot of courage and the need to free myself from certain beliefs in order to conceive and compose this very powerful story. I got the idea for Husbands Incorporated when I got divorced 11 years ago. I was really excited after 10 years of monogamy to start dating and having romantic adventures. And that was fun for a while. I didn't want to get married again. I didn't want a hot and heavy, deep, involved, committed, long-term relationship. That was just not on the agenda. And I wanted to have fun, but I wanted to be safe. And so I started dating, and I really enjoyed it for a while, but then I noticed that even some of the most torrid trysts can fizzle. And I kept wondering why, what's going on here? And then at the same time, I was having all these revelations about marriage and life and the fairy tale that we're all inundated with from birth, really, about finding your Prince Charming and living happily ever after and true love and all that sounds so wonderful, but for half the people in America who get married, the dream sometimes turns into a nightmare and they end up divorced. So my thought was, how can I create the perfect relationship, the perfect marriage, where women especially get fun, passion, satisfaction, all in a way that protect our health, our reputation, and our lives. So I started to get this idea for Husbands Incorporated because at the same time, anybody who's ever gotten divorced realizes you may begin it in this beautiful romantic haze, but it ends in a courtroom. You might marry in a church or a garden, but it ends in front of a judge. And so it's a business deal. It really boils down to money, property, decisions that affect the rest of your life. And so that, on top of all these news reports about celebrities and their prenuptial agreements, when someone wealthy or a celebrity gets married and they have a prenuptial agreement, it often says, if this marriage lasts 5 years, you get $5 million. Or there's a certain dollar amount tied to time. And so all of this started to turn in my head, and I realized, okay, what if I could flip the script on women who marry for money and offer a man payment for a legal marriage that we determine will last for 1 year, and at the end of that year we get a divorce, and the prenuptial agreement says he gets a large financial payment. In the meantime, he gets to live for free, and the only work that he has to do is to be the perfect husband. So, having the imagination that I have, I said, okay, let's take this to another level. Let's have the men all be trained to fulfill the woman's wildest fantasy. So, ladies, if your fantasy is a boy toy or a firefighter or a Latin lover or a football player or a banker or, let's see, a Native American warrior or a cowboy or a hip-hop guy or a rock and roll star, whatever you want, Husbands Incorporated is like central casting in the script of your ultimate fantasy. So on top of training these men to play this role, say a cowboy for example, on top of that, they also get trained in etiquette. They get trained in how to satisfy a woman unconditionally, that is guaranteed. They get trained in sort of acting in being the perfect person. And you can say, oh, that sounds so fake. Well, we all pretend to a certain degree in life. We all play roles. But that's what Husbands Incorporated is all about, to fulfill this fantasy. And so then the women pay a certain amount of money, and a lot of it covers administrative fees for this training and for the matchmaking, as well as different events. Like they have a masquerade ball that's really elaborate and fun, where everybody wears costumes and they're in this big ballroom with like ridiculously lavish food spreads and music and dancing. So it's really fun. It's like a fantasy. And Husbands Incorporated is housed in this castle built here in Detroit. And so it sets like this really decadent, hedonistic environment. A yacht, a pool, a backyard, a volleyball court, a big terrace, all this wonderful scenery where all the action takes place. So it's really fun. But on top of that, the prenuptial agreement talks about getting a divorce in Guam, because the U.S. territory of Guam, I discovered, you only have to be there for 7 days to establish residency, and you can get a quick divorce. So that's part of the deal. The women pay a significant sum for these administrative fees, but it also includes a physical health screening to ensure that the men and women are free of any communicable diseases. They get a mental health screening to make sure they're emotionally stable to handle this type of situation for a year. And it also does a background check in case anybody has a criminal background or any other questionable activities in their past. So everybody is free to enter into these marriages feeling safe and secure, that those fundamentals are taken care of. So the real drama happens when you put two people together in this situation, because no matter what the contract says, or no matter what the dollar amount is, or how much of a fantasy it feels like, we all come to a relationship with our baggage and our issues and our personal perspectives, and they come bubbling to the surface, especially when you're living with someone and it's an intimate relationship. So of course that's where the drama plays out, and it's really exciting. But meanwhile, they're all having really hot sex. And sometimes that's the root of the drama as well, because if you have issues, those might come out most acutely in that intimate setting. So it's fun, it's exciting, it's a fantasy, but it's a really serious look at the issues around marriage, monogamy, romance, and self-love. That's a huge theme in this story that I explore intimately, because in order to attract the right person and really enjoy a relationship, you have to love yourself first. And a lot of times after a marriage that fails and figuring out who you are in the context of being a single person again, there's a lot of soul searching that goes on. And so I was doing that, and I was exploring my innermost thoughts, motivations, fears, goals, dreams. And in the course of that, the themes for this book played out. Really important in the course of talking about erotica, Husbands Incorporated, and writing this story, which is bold, radical, unprecedented, is that I want to inspire a paradigm shift, especially for women, to think about a better way to have relationships. It's very important, before you jump into a whole new relationship that can be overwhelming, to examine who you are and what you want, and what are your boundaries. What are your boundaries? And you set the agenda. You decide what you want, and then you can better attract what you want and not just settle for whatever shows up. Don't feel desperate. Don't feel needy. Just know what you want and set those boundaries and stick to them. I personally have set my boundaries, And I'm so resolved in this that I'd rather be alone than compromise the utmost amazing, extraordinary, mind-blowing relationship. It's that or nothing. It's me and my computer writing, or that. I will settle for nothing less. And we all deserve that. We have to demand it. Demand it. When I also examine monogamy, really sensitive subject for a lot of people because we've all been brought up to believe that that is the ideal. That's what we're supposed to have. That's what marriage is supposed to be, is monogamy. You say I do, and then you're with this person for the rest of your life. But in my observations about the world and experiences in the number of married men who've actually tried to date me, sometimes not telling me that they're married, I've realized monogamy is an ideal, but the reality is quite different. Something isn't working. So I challenge people to come up with an unconventional way, and many, many people do, and it works, to figure out a way to have a relationship where it's satisfying, it's exciting, and you can just set new parameters. That's the topic of a whole different vlogatorial. However, right now, I really want people to think about what would make them happy. And I think that also when you love yourself and you know what you want, you're able to set different rules. You don't feel insecure, you don't feel threatened, you don't feel scared. You just become emboldened with this new confidence that when you go for your ultimate relationship, that will be reciprocated in a way that's so beautiful. You can't believe it or understand it until you're in it. So, while some of these themes might sound really pessimistic, in my heart, I'm a true romantic, and I love romance and love and all the amazing feelings that it gives you. And so my characters experience that as well. They fight it like you wouldn't believe. They fight those feelings. They don't believe in true love. They think it's a lie. They think monogamy is a myth. But then, when the real deal shows up, it challenges all of their bold convictions, and their hearts just overwhelm and make them question whether they've come to the right conclusions about the possibility of true love. So, in the meantime, Husbands Incorporated is really exciting and liberating because these ladies have been so frustrated and disappointed so many times for so many years that when it gets down to the erotic aspect of the story, they're ready to just, they're ready to get thrashed. They're ready to throw down. They're ready to explore themselves with another person in a new way. You know, that like abandons all the rules and restrictions about being ladylike and, oh, you're not supposed to do this or you're not supposed to do that. No, it's about everyone indulging their most hedonistic desires and having an amazing time. And again, in a very safe setting where everybody's been tested, they're healthy, and it's an illegal marriage. So the morality issue's been covered there somewhat. However, the villains, which include an ex-husband and someone who's running for Congress, are so upset. And these activists are so furious that these women are liberated like this that they want to shut the place down. So of course in every good story you have to have a villain or two, and that causes high drama. So I hope you can check out Husbands Incorporated and explore not only the fun, sexy side of the story, but really allow the story to provoke new ideas about how to have the best relationship that's exciting, adventurous, fun, fulfilling, and all that great stuff. It's a perfect book to read over the July 4th holiday, so let me know what you thought. Thank you.